Alright, finals are over, semester's done. Who would have thought 3 documentaries, a graphic design class, and all that kind of stuff would be so time consuming? So now that I have some time to get this stuff going again, let's sit down, get caught up on some WWE, and see if things are getting any better.
Now I apologize for the drastic measures I have taken tonight, but you can't be too safe in a dangerous slum like Houston, Texas.
Wait a minute, WWE, what the fudge is that? Seriously, what? Yeah, I didn't want to get demonetized. You guys thought I was going to say fuck, didn't you? Damn it! What's up, everybody? Yes, indeed, it's time for another episode of The Last Word. And who am I kidding? It's not like I'm monetized anyways. So yes, everybody, it's your social pariah turned messiah, your misfit that doesn't know when to quit, your man without a plan. And in case you haven't heard, I always, and I mean always, have the last word. What's poppin'? Post happy holidays and happy new year. It's 2019. I apologize for the delay as I kind of did my intro. I've been busy with class and all that kind of stuff, and that kind of takes precedent. Thank you all for being patient with me. But before I get into it, can we go back to that Dean Ambrose clip one more time? Because what the hell?
You, my mummy.
Yeah, seriously, what the hell? I'm waiting for Rose and the ninth, I think it's the Ninth Doctor, Christopher Eccleston. So yeah, for those of you that just watched that clip and have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, it's from Doctor Who. There's an episode on the new series when it was rebooted in the mid-2000s where some alien nanite basically takes a kid who was caught in World War II era bombing in the Blitzkrieg in England. And it doesn't know what a human is because it was brought to Earth by just make it easier, I'll say an alien, there's more to it, but I don't want to go on a 40-minute explanation. But it was brought to Earth, it found this dead kid with a gas mask on, thought that's what they were supposed to look like, and repaired the kid, and then proceeded to go all across the area trying to fix everyone by turning them into that. And everybody, because it's based on the kid that the nanite's imprinted on, all say, "Are you my mummy?" That's what Dean Ambrose looks like. So, seriously, WWE. Now, I mean, for as bad as the product's been over the last few months, the Ambrose heel turn was done quite well. And that took so much thunder out of what I want to complain about. Because I was getting ready to do a video, just because I had a little bit of time between projects. And then Roman Reigns came out and announced he had leukemia. So I'm just like, well, I can't really talk about Roman. Because again, I have no problem with Joe, the person. I can't stand Roman Reigns, the character. And it's not even him. It's the way he was pushed. Godspeed, dude. Good luck to you. I'm looking forward to you being back in that squared circle. Safe and in remission. And I know the controversy was there with the heel turn. I thought it was perfect timing because it capitalized on emotion. As far as as tasteless as the WWE can be at times, I don't think that was tasteless. I think that was actually good execution. Everything after that with Dean and Seth has been atrocious. And then you get dollar store discount Bane coming out to the ring. It's almost like he works for a multi-trillion-dollar company that can afford better special effects or something. But, dear God, I mean, I did the part 1 in November, because holy crap, it was that long ago, where I talked a bit about kind of that the ratings are down, and yet in Milwaukee a few weeks ago, the worst ratings ever, and then another week after that, or 2 weeks after that, they also had the worst ratings ever. So the ratings are down, and they seem to just not know what they're doing, and a lot of this is booking. Now, to their credit, and I was going to throw another video clip in here, but I don't want to drag this out super long. I kind of want to start making these videos a bit shorter. You had a couple weeks ago, Vince, Shane, Stephanie, and Triple H all came out, acknowledged that the product bleh, has kind of sucked. Who are we kidding? Who wants to see Elias and Bobby Lashley one more freaking time? Ah, dear God. Who wants to see another Lucha House Party Rules match? Not I. So they acknowledge that there's a problem, but they learn nothing. Because this goes right into what I'm going to talk about here for a few minutes today. They played off that it's Baron Corbin causing the problems because he's the GM. And then on SmackDown, they fire Paige because, oh, you're not running the show right. Okay, I understand kayfabe, and it's at the end of the day a performance, it's acting. So there's some, what's that word I want? Suspension of disbelief. But we're not stupid, WWE. Any wrestling federation. I know because we're adult fans, there's a stereotype that we're dumb. And I argue with some of them on Facebook, and yes, some are quite dumb. But I think a good portion of us understand who runs the friggin' company. So you're throwing Baron Corbin under the bus, which made for a great, TV-ish. But we know it's your booking. We know it's your 4-year campaign of shoving Roman down our throat, ignoring every other star, every opportunity that the fans were demanding for. We know it's Stephanie making the women's division all about her. We know everything is run by you guys. So this kayfabe nonsense of we're fixing things, bullshit. I mean, come on. You had Shane win the freaking the World Cup thing in Saudi Arabia. Which, by the way, my final in my sports writing class was actually on the women in professional wrestling and what's going on with the Saudi Arabian deal. And I got an A on it. So, and again, I'm not here to preach. That's their business at the end of the day. It's to make money. And I think Jim Cornette put it best. These people that don't want the women to wrestle because they don't think the women should are paying the women to sit at home. So, while I think it's disrespectful, but hey, Evolution happened. And if you're wondering what happened to the, side note, to the pay-per-view reviews, again, I just got way too much workload in mid-November and December here. I will start doing pay-per-view reviews again in the end of January for the Royal Rumble. So those are coming back. But Evolution, just give my 2 thoughts on that. It wasn't bad. I actually thought it was pretty good. To me, it's like you did this because you knew you screwed the pooch with the greatest Royal Rumble and then the one you had a few days later. The Crown Jewel was just a glorified house show. Meh. SummerSlam, meh. There were some good matches. Brock and Daniel Bryan, which I'll get to in a second here, was a good match. So before I go into kind of what's not working in the booking, and we'll talk about this, I'm going to give the WWE some credit because you stole some of my thunder. Asuka finally getting the championship was an excellent move. I'm enjoying it. It's about frickin' time. She should have had that for a while. Daniel Bryan's heel turn, where he's basically hipster douchebag Daniel Bryan, is amazing. I don't care if you hate him and you want to root for Daniel Bryan. That's some Chris Jericho levels of making me hate you, despite the fact that I absolutely love you. And I'm not even a huge Daniel Bryan guy, and it's nothing against him. I just was out of wrestling during his peak. So I didn't really get to see. Same thing with CM Punk. Everybody says he's a GOAT, but I wasn't around when he was... I wasn't watching wrestling when he was around. Daniel Bryan has impressed me from WrestleMania when he returned, and his mic work and the character he's playing is awesome. Just hands down, even if you hate the fact he's a heel, because I get it, there was guys, I hated when Stone Cold was a heel during the Attitude Era, but it worked. He did it well. It was entertaining as much as I hated the fact that he was a heel. And I mean, heel isn't working on the side of the corporation. I mean, he was never a face, so that's a little different. But Daniel Bryan's working really well. Asuka's working really well. Becky Lynch has been the best thing in the WWE in all of 2018. She is literally the man. So those are some of the things that are working. And one more I'll throw in here, what's working. So I see some potential good coming out of this. Face Elias has been great. I'm enjoying it. I think most fans are. He works either way, but he's fun. But let's just get down to what we're talking about. Ratings suck. The shows have more or less sucked. So what's going on? And it all comes down to booking. We had how many matches between Elias and Bobby Lashley? And I've met Lio Rush. I have his autograph on my wall. I didn't meet him at a PCW match. He was at a Northeast Wrestling match, and I got to meet him. He's a really awesome dude. I like the guy. I don't like the gimmick with him being the Bobby Lashley's promoter or manager. I think he can do better than that, but it's not bad. Like, it does work. I've seen Leo in the ring. I've seen Leo when he's allowed to be Leo, and I think he's much better. But how many friggin' times were we supposed to take Elias and Bobby Lashley? You know, it's the same freaking nonsense. I mean, how many times are we going to get Dean and Seth? And again, it's not always bad. We had a long, intense rivalry between Sheamus and Cesaro with that oddball tie in the best of 7 that turned into the bar. They can execute this well. But the audience has to give a shit. Let's be honest. I don't care about... I mean, you've made Lashley look like a joke. Now, him being a heel with the smug... he comes off like a pimp. But with Lio Rush is working for Lashley. I mean, as far as his character. But, dear God. Nia Jax has been just a disaster here. And you screwed that pooch as far as really pushing her. And I don't think she's necessarily that bad. She definitely needs more work. I don't know if she needs to go back down to NXT or have some more one-on-one training, but that botch that basically gave Becky Lynch a concussion, ow. And it happens. Accidents happen. I mean, look at Seth Rollins. He's injured quite a few guys, but I don't think he's bad in the ring. But you wasted her. I mean, Alexa Bliss, unfortunately, I mean, I'm wearing her shirt. She's out. But you look at Alexa, you look at Charlotte, you look at basically every female heel, they're all the bitchy cheerleader type. Like, do something different. And this is where the booking comes in. You don't know how to write characters. You hired, when Stephanie took over, Stephanie McMahon, maybe her full title, or full name. She took over, I think it was 2012, doing over creative and all that kind of stuff. Ish. I don't know if she's fully over it or just over some aspects of it. But they brought in all these Hollywood people, and they're ass. Like, just, you need to fire a lot of them. And you know what? I would love to work for the WWE. I would love to right now, if I had my choice, because I'm a comm major. I already have my associates in broadcast communications, so I'm getting my bachelor's. I would love to be a manager, and I would love to be a manager of a tag team of Donovan Dijak and Keith Lee. I've seen them wrestle against each other several times. I've met both of them. They are phenomenally talented, and I honestly feel like they're going to get screwed over when they get called up to Maine, and we'll get to that in a little bit too. Because I'm going to combine parts 2 and 3. I was going to do 2 more on the booking and what's wrong there, and 3 on the individual wrestlers. But, I mean, how many times can I say the booking sucks before it's just repeating myself over and over? Because, yes, the booking sucks. Oh, there's... The women's division got stagnant. They didn't know what to do with anybody. You brought up Mandy Rose and a lot of this young talent, the Iconics, Ember Moon, and you did nothing with them. Like, what's the point of bringing these people up if you don't have a good writing team, a good creative team, a good promoter? Booker is what I'm looking for. I mean, what's the stupidest thing they did with the Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins deal? They turned around and tried to get Renee Young involved. We all know in real life she's married to Dean. But you still have that aspect of kayfabe where they work together, but they don't... Like, you can keep that separate. That's part of the suspension of disbelief we can work with. My God, you had a gold mine with Rusev Day. It did jack shit with it until a week ago. Now, finally, Rusev Day is doing something at the expense of Shinsuke Nakamura, which you couldn't book to save your life. Didn't allow him to wrestle strong style. Didn't give him matches. And it's not even just, I say booking, I talk a lot about how characters are written. And part of that problem is the half-assed, corny not even PG rated G scripts they're handed to read instead of allowing them to be creative with what they've given. But the other part of it is the matches aren't choreographed well. You have guys that aren't being used to their potential, aren't allowed to compete in the way they can compete and do well. And I'm beating a dead horse because we all know this or you wouldn't be watching this. But damn, it's just been atrocious. What the hell? I mean, again, I'm happy because I didn't think he should have got the title in the first place. But what the hell happened to Jinder Mahal? Until Chad Gable teamed up with him, I forgot Bobby Roode was on Raw. You bring these people up, Authors of Pain, Sanity. They were doing, I mean, okay, they had a couple of, not even house shows, what do I want? Pre-pay-per-view matches, pre-show, there we go, matches. That was it. You weren't doing anything with them. You weren't even using the friggin' New Day. So it's just, you have a problem, and it's not talent. You're just not, you don't know how to use your talent. And honestly, WWE, I'm pleading with you, bring in some better creative. Or if it's a management issue, back off and let creative and the wrestlers work stuff out with each other. Because, I mean, okay, just because I'm going to try to keep this short. I say that every time, and these videos still wind up being about 50 minutes long, so I apologize. I haven't been able to stomach a full episode of Raw and SmackDown in about 3 months. I've watched a little bit here and there. I focused on the Dean Ambrose Bane thing because when I saw that, I fell over laughing and how stupid it was. You had this crap, and again, it's because of the holidays. Raw and SmackDown haven't been live for the last week or two. As far as at least the last week. I don't know if SmackDown was live on Tuesday. I don't think it was. But you talked about how this is a new era, and then you had the same shitty matches, same generic crap. A big thing, and I know Cultaholic, What Culture, a lot of them have hit it, and I agree with them. This obligatory title rematch thing needs to go away. Now, if it's to build a feud, because if you have a feud between a heel and a face, heel champion, face challenger, or vice versa, and the one never wins, and it's just like 3 matches, and they get their ass handed to them each time, well, okay, now you just made the challenger look like garbage, and it didn't do anything for either. You can have a back and forth with rematches if you have a long building feud. You have the heel cheat to get the belt off the champion, which you could have did this with Shinsuke, with AJ, and decided not to because you don't know what the hell you're doing right now with the talent you have. And again, I say that humbly because I don't run the company. I will say, as much as I don't want to see the McMahon show again, it was refreshing seeing Vince on TV, which tells you how bad the product has been, and I'm happy to see Vince McMahon on TV. But you could have had Shinsuke either at Mania or right after Mania with the nut shot, win the belt. AJ gets pissed. They build up that feud. They go back and forth with AJ winning the title back as the blow-off. You didn't need to have, well, AJ won, so now Shinsuke. Well, Shinsuke won, now AJ. You don't need to go back and forth 50 times. Or, the other problem you have, which has been a major problem, keep putting the belt on a guy that wrestles 4 times a year. I don't understand it. I'm not going to say anything negative with Roman. I'm happy he's not champion. Just not happy for the reasons why. Let me put it that way. And I think that's part of why the whole thing is garbage right now, is they had no plan. All they had was, we're going to force Roman Reigns to be the guy. Now, what I saw out of Joe when he gave the promo talking about I'm not being honest to everybody, I want Joe when he comes back, that character. Not this freaking prefabricated corporate garbage that you're throwing out there. Because honestly, I know he's injured, so I think that's probably why not. Braun Strowman should have been the champion a while ago. He is the most over guy on Raw. But again, poor booking. I think some of this comes down to there was rumors of backstage issues with Braun. I couldn't substantiate any of them because, some of the dirt sheets, they say whatever. And then you find out Braun had the bad elbow, and then supposedly he yelled at people in the locker room. I don't think that's real because if you see this guy's social media and how he is when he's not in character, he's a really sweet guy from everything. Nice guy. I just realized how that sounded. It's all good. He's a really nice guy from everything I've seen. But again, piss poor booking. Why the hell is he not the champion? And you can't give me the shit because he's injured, because you got Brock Lesnar there who wrestles 4 times a year. Can you tell I'm tired of Brock Lesnar? And it's even the way they book title matches. I got tired of AJ Styles by the end of it. Daniel Bryan winning this belt on a freaking episode of SmackDown was awesome, because when the hell was the last time a major title, I mean major, not the freaking US title, was won or lost on a non-pay-per-view? Remember when they did that in the Attitude Era, and again to a degree in the Ruthless Aggression Era, to give people reason to watch? You don't do it every week, but if you do it every 6, 8, 12 weeks, a few times a year, it gives people a reason to give a shit and tune in. But let's talk talent. What the hell are you doing with Samoa Joe? You have wasted this guy. This guy is amazing. At least you gave AJ Styles a run, and you got him now as #1 contender after that fatal 5-way last night, which again, you had an opportunity to put something different out there like Mustafa Ali, which I like him. And I don't honestly think he'd be champion, but it would have been interesting for him going against Daniel Bryan. I don't want to see Rey Mysterio as much as I do like the guy, but I'm tired of, I don't want to say old guard, but, and the same thing with Randy Orton. It's push some of the newer guys. You need to have those faces in the company, because the guy that you tried making the face of the company may or may not be back for a couple years. And I don't want you rushing him back if he's not 100%, because you don't know what you're doing. Don't kill the guy. You know what? I'm going on a rabbit trail, but it's my podcast. I reached out to Roman, and and he didn't send me a personal message, but he replied to everybody. It was really classy. I reached out to him directly and was like, dude, doesn't matter what I thought or what I've said about you as a character, you as a person are more important. And he gave a really nice, just to everybody that wrote to me, thank you so much. I liked seeing that. It was not a scripted promo, and that's part of the booking problem. I mentioned it at least once now. Stop scripting promos. Stop. If the guy's a brand new call-up, or is just not any mic skills like Apollo Crews, who I think is phenomenally talented, but I have to acknowledge is god-awful on the mic, stop scripting stupid promos. Let these guys be themselves. Part of them playing a character is their own personality is put into this character. That's what makes it work. This is like acting 101. You play a character. You take on a role. What made Robert Downey Jr. amazing as Iron Man was just the way he made himself Iron Man. It felt more like Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man versus him trying to read a script and it wasn't just, well, what would Tony say? It was more of how I'm this person, how would I do it? And again, there's probably much better examples, but that was the first one that popped in my head because I can't imagine anybody else playing Iron Man right now. But I mean, there's a million people that can do the same, job out every week and smile at the camera and read a scripted promo. You need to stop that. But back to talent. You had Samoa Joe. You've wasted thus far. You could have gave him the title match. And then you have Shinsuke Nakamura, whose contract is about to expire, and rumors are saying he's going back to New Japan. I don't want to see him go, but for all the shit you've done with him and run his character into the ground and give him nothing to work with, I don't blame him if he goes. I don't think he will. I mean, at the end of the day, he's a name. He draws views. He draws merchandise sales. They will throw money at him to get him to stay. But again, wasted talent. The Revival. Holy crap, remember the Revival? I forgot they were in the WWE. Remember Gallows and Anderson? Holy shit, I forgot they're in the WWE until they just showed up 2 weeks ago on SmackDown. Because weren't they on Raw? Weren't they drafted to Raw? It's just, this is why your ratings are down. You have all this talent, but you throw the same matches out there every week. I'm so looking forward to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn coming back. But, because Kevin, even when he was in a feud fighting the same person over and over. He had enough on mic and in-ring charisma to make it work. Ay. Remember, did you know No Way Jose was called up to Raw? When the hell's the last time we've seen him in the ring? Holy crap. Oh, dear God, I'm trying to think of the other ones. I mean, Ember Moon, you don't see anything out of her. She should be... Honestly, they should have put her on SmackDown. But I think the problem right now is it's Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Asuka. And as much as I'm happy Asuka's a champion, we're getting the same match for a third freaking pay-per-view in a row with Charlotte, Asuka, and Becky. Becky Lynch doesn't need the title right now. What you need to do is put her in a intergender match. Hell, her and John Cena were having it out yesterday. And aside from John Cena having JBL hair, God, that haircut was horrible on him, and he even knew it. He made fun of it, too. But the two of them should have a match. And the reason I say the two of them is I know Cena can at least... And again, I'm not going to say he's a great wrestler. He's a Hulk Hogan type. He has his 5 moves and knows how to get the crowd going. But sometimes that's all you need. But I think he's a safe enough worker where, because, again... In the 90s, we had intergender matches a lot of the times. I was going to say all the time. And it really wasn't a problem. But let's just say in a world where we're so sensitive and concerned about everything now, I think having someone who you at least can be trusted to be safe, then I think that would be a good matchup, and that would do wonders for Becky. Even if you have to have her cheat to win, like she nut shots John and rolls him up for a pin. Which, again, there's a no-win in that situation because if he beats her down, it's going to be oppressing women. If she cheats to win, it's, women can't do it legit. But you got to sometimes just tell those people to shut the hell up and do what makes for a great story and furthers character development. And here's the thing, WWE. Do you have vision for your characters? Because we, as the fans, as the viewing audience, as critics, as consumers of your products, don't know what your vision is for half these characters. Because you haven't presented it to us. You have to have a vision for who you want No Way Jose to be, for who you want Samoa Joe to be, for who you want XYZ character, performer character, whatever to be. They, as the performer, have to know, A, what vision you have, and B, you need to know what vision they have. And those need to kind of meld together to create a great product, but we're not getting that at all. What the hell was it? God, what's his name? Finn Balor. I know he got hurt a couple times, but dear God, he was the first Universal Champion, and now you won't even, main event him at all? Yeah, let's get another Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler match. I like both guys. I'm not a huge Seth guy. I don't quite get why everybody thinks he's the greatest. I kind of have a ton of respect for Dolph. Because I think he won me over with his feud with The Miz, and The Miz has been probably one of the best underrated guys in the WWE for the last 5-6 years. I know he's a little too... I shouldn't say I know. People say he's a little too safe, but I don't think that's a problem. Especially when we're in an era where they're not doing the chair shots to the head and the kind of crazy crap a lot of us that are older grew up loving. Which I think is part of what we don't like, but it's a different era. It's more corporate, ironically. I know I'm saying that, but... It's shareholders, it's, they got this multi-billion-dollar deal with Fox, which I think is ultimately going to improve the product, because if the ratings are shit and the product's shit, Fox is not going to sit on that. But, so yeah, let me just side note, because I used to work for an ISP/cable company. If you're seeing on your cable companies, on your TV that Fox, and it might go away... Well, they just spent how many billions of dollars on the WWE? They're going to renegotiate what they're charging the cable companies to carry their channels. So, good luck on that. Let me just point out, all money at the end of the day, it's like that saying, shit rolls downhill. At the end of the day, we get stuck paying for it. So, just look out for that. I have to wonder, man, right now, when TNA is Impact, whatever the hell they call themselves now, I'm surprised they're still around, to be honest. They're more appealing. Ring of Honor's been great. All In this past year was 2018 was great. God, it's just there's so many problems, and I mean I can keep saying it's booking over and over. I mean the best example I've given is Elias and Bobby Lashley. It's the hammy scripts of overly sanitized and corporate approved promos. It's just put a product out that will like. The independent wrestling scene has been thriving the last few years because the guys are allowed to put matches out there that, because they're not saving anything for the pay-per-view, because that is their payday. They're not holding anything back. They're not, and again, I'm not accusing any of the performers of doing that, but you just see some of these matches that are just the most boring, bland, same predictable thing over and over. Watch NXT, because that's where it's different. And that's where WWE is successful, and that's run by Triple H. I'm hoping when the time comes and he takes complete control with his wife. I don't know how much influence Shane will have there. And again, I'm not saying Vince needs to go away, but I kind of think Vince might need to go away. But the XFL is coming back, so that may pull his attention a bit further away. But damn, has it been brutal. I'm trying to think of any other performers here. I mentioned the Iconics. I mentioned Mandy Rose. You're bringing up, what was it? Not War Machine, Heavy Machinery. You're bringing up. What are you going to do with them? And just speaking of which, fix the tag team division on both shows. You're rolling out a women's tag team champion series. Women's tag team championship. I don't know any details yet because it hasn't been announced if there's going to be brand specific ones. I personally think it should carry over from brand to brand. Doesn't necessarily need to be defended every week, but you can kind of have. I don't know. It's a tough one to me because I almost feel like the women should have their own show, much like 205 Live. But I also feel like that's going to turn around and get them relegated to in the corner where they're not seen. So I don't want that either. But I think a women's, U.S. or Intercontinental belt and a women's championship and a tag team belt would be awesome. I mean, Glamorous Ladies of Wrestling was a thing years ago, and that worked quite well for a few years. And if you haven't seen that show on Netflix, it's very liberties taken. Like, there's a robot that's serving cocaine in one of the episodes, which was not a thing in the 80s. Cocaine was, not the robot. But it's a really good show, especially if you're a wrestling fan. But, I mean, the women you don't do anything with to begin with, WWE. They kind of all have the same one-note personality. It's the bitchy cheerleader or the, sassy attitude. Something that I honestly think is hurting the women's division, and you're probably going to be hitting the dislike button when I say this. Ronda Rousey. And it's not her in-ring work. Now, my initial review on the pay-per-view match from WrestleMania was it wasn't my cup of tea. Rewatching it was a lot better than I gave it credit for. But it didn't blow me away. Like, I thought Asuka and Charlotte was a better match. But also, Asuka and Charlotte are both performers. Stephanie McMahon is not a performer, so whenever Ronda's in the ring, she's limited as to what she can do. I've seen her improve greatly in the ring over the last few months. But she can't shit talk, smack talk, whatever word you want to use there, to save her life on social media. She got destroyed by Becky Lynch. And you're not doing anything with her. She's just out there and unbeatable. And she's new to it, so I know it's going to take time. But maybe rushing her into champion and all that stuff might not have been the best idea. Honestly, I think making her debut at this past WrestleMania and winning it in this upcoming WrestleMania, maybe dethroning the undefeated, unstoppable Asuka, would have been better because you would have had a whole year to kind of build up Ronda and how awesome she is in the ring. And she is. I love Ronda. I used to love watching her 10 seconds of a match on UFC. Because I worked at an ISP, and when there was major pay-per-views, I took the cable side stuff, but I typically did networking and systems support. It sucked. But I don't think they handled Ronda quite well. They just were like, look, it's a big name, shove it down your throat, you like it, right? Eat it. And it's kind of like, yeah, I like it, but calm down. Like, don't throw all your other performers under the bus. And I did. Like, dear God, I forgot Naomi worked for the WWE until she showed up a week or two ago. It's almost like, oh yeah, she exists. And to my knowledge, I don't think she was hurt. But the booking, the use of performers, the no direct, clear, coherent, visible to the viewing audience direction is hurting the product. And I'm hoping as we're now into 2019, with them being aware of how bad and how poor the ratings have done, and with them going into their transition to Fox with that deal, that we're going to see a improved, better performed, better choreographed, maybe a little more hands-off, let the performers do their thing product. Let the 2 performers, 4 performers, how many ever you're doing, let them work their stuff out together. Like, I shouldn't have to go to a local house show, indie show, to see better in-ring wrestling. And don't get me wrong, I've seen some god-awful wrestling at the indie shows. But nothing super horrible. And I'm not going to say overall that they're better than the WWE. But your main events are always tag team matches. You have throwaway matches that mean nothing. There's, the titles are never defended. Or if they are, it's some, the same interference, stupid situation over and over. You need to have your shows matter. And to make it matter, WWE, you need to have the actual in-ring performances consistently look like it matters, like there's effort there, and that's not just there because it's a wrestling show. You need to have promos matter. You need to allow your performers to cultivate a personality, make that character their own. Because I don't understand how you don't get this, because that's literally what started the Attitude Era with Stone Cold. He took it, ran with it, yet stayed back a little, let's see what happened, and it worked, and you ran with it. I'm not saying we need an Attitude Era again, because for all that we praise Mark Henry and sleeping with Mae Young and have given birth to a freaking hand, I don't like that. That was stupid. The Katie Vick, that was stupid. Like, dear God, there was a lot. Katie Vick might have been the Ruthless Aggression era, but so there was a lot of god awful crap with that too. But you don't ignore the good and look at that and go, we can't do that again. I'm happy that we're no longer having women barking like dogs. We're not having bra and panty matches. We're not having another Trish Stratus kissing my ass type thing. And not mine, Vince McMahon. She kissed mine, I'd be bragging. I kid. I'm glad the women are getting respected and actually are, let alone able to perform, but are being treated as though they can and getting the spotlight. But work with what you have, WWE. Work with your talent. Allow your talent to do things. Look outside of what you've been doing for creative, because it's not working. Bring back pyrotechnics. Push your freaking talent. I mean, Cena was back on Tuesday, and you're advertising he's, his free agent thing again. Are you going to put the belt on him and then bury every new person that comes up for a year again? Because, I mean, okay, you bragging about, was it Brock Lesnar having the title for 500 some odd days? He defended it like 8 times in that duration, so who cares? You have talent. I mean, you have Donovan Dijak, you have Keith Lee, you have so many phenomenally talented dudes down and women down in the NXT. But I don't want to see them come up right now because you don't use them. You screw them over. And I say this as somebody, A, who does this on YouTube for a hobby, but B, as a fan, as somebody who misses enjoying the product, misses watching it. And it's hard to do a podcast when every week I'm getting ready to talk about how everything's so bad. That's why I was happy that we have Daniel Bryan being awesome as a douchebag hipster. His, this whole thing with him has been great. Like, it's just, it works for him. And as much as I like AJ Styles, I got tired of him being champion. But it was nice seeing that happen on TV. Again, don't do it all the time. Don't be WCW, for the love of God. But give me a reason to watch. That's all I'm asking. What about all of you that sat through all this today? Am I asking too much saying push the right talent, kind of fix your creative team, wow your talent, because it feels like the talent doesn't call the shots in the matches. At least some of them do. I think your main eventers more than likely do. And again, I could be completely wrong there. They could be calling the shots as they go, as is tradition, but they may be limited as to what they're allowed to do in the ring because corporate sponsors and all that crap. But it's not all bad. This is part 2 of, I guess, a 3-part, because I should get around at some point and do what I would book for 2019, which will include Donovan Dijak and Keith Lee coming up in a tag team, and I wish, for the love of God, I could be their manager. Feast your eyes on the Limitless. And I don't know if they're both doing their Feast Your Eyes or their Limitless stuff down in NXT, because I don't get a chance to catch that a lot, and I haven't seen a lot of matches between either of them on the network. But dear God, if you don't know who they are, go look them up on YouTube. They are both hella talented. But damn, that would be a part of it. I think they could be a dominant tag team, as I kind of got to and then wandered off on. The tag team division in general needs to be treated with some respect again. And it's weird. WWE goes through this every few years. They push and promote the tag team division for a bit and then just say, who gives a shit? And they just let it fall apart. But it's like, well, what did you think was going to happen? We don't need New Day holding the titles for over a year again, although that was cool. I mean, I liked the New Day. I just don't want to see them with the titles for over a year. We don't need to see the Bar or the Usos with the title right now either. You have a lot of young blood. I don't know, maybe the Revival? Sanity? The Authors of Pain? Was it Gables and Rude, which is just the most, we don't know what to do with you two, so you're a tag team now thing going. But, I mean, Bobby Roode was amazing. One of the biggest highlights in NXT. And you screwed it up. So all I'm asking is, look at what talent you have and everyone should have a purpose and a place. And at the end of the day, it's how the fans react to them is what you should be listening to. The guy or gal, whether you want them as face, heel, main eventer, or mid-carder, no matter what you see them as, if the crowd is tearing it up, cheering for them, or ripping them apart, depending if they're face, heel, or whatever, you need to be able to adapt and adjust. You spent so damn long trying to force an agenda, I guess, or force a person on us, and force a position, and did everything in your power to try to make Cena 2.0, that you have lost track of allowing. You don't need Cena is Cena. We don't call Cena Hogan 2.0, though they're similar. Cena's not Austin 2.0. You have Austin, you have The Rock, you have Y2J, you have Mick Foley, because they were their own character. They were able to work with what you gave them and make themselves known to the crowd and cement their own legacy. Stop trying to replicate the past, and just for the love of God, look at what talent you have and let them cement their future. Throw guys out there. Try different things. The crowd will let you know what's working. Sales go up. Ratings go up. That makes shareholders happy. That makes the network that just spent $5 billion on you happy. Or $5 billion a year or whatever it is. And again, I'm talking to people watching, but I'm acting like I'm talking to WWE, so who knows if they come across it. But let me know here in the comment section on YouTube. Am I in the right ballpark? Am I hitting am I just completely way off? Is the booking fine? Am I seeing the wrong problem? But again, I want to thank you all for tuning in here today. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep this one shorter, though I still think I'm at about 50 minutes anyways. But again, I definitely going to be doing a SummerSlam review. Royal Rumble review. Yeah, SummerSlam later in the year. Semester starts up. I have 5 classes here in the spring, and I graduate. Going to try to get a job on radio, or at least in that field. So we'll see how much content I can keep going. I will try to at least keep the pay-per-view reviews going and do at least 2 a month, like a non-pay-per-view thing and then a pay-per-view thing. Just to keep content going. The gaming stuff will keep going on the channel. I'm going to have some other little offshoot things I'm going to try and see what works. I hope you guys liked the new opening. That was my final in my graphic design class. I made all that and the end of show bumper all in After Effects. So thank you all for tuning in. And again, I am the social pariah turned messiah. I am the misfit that doesn't know when to quit. I am the man without a plan. And in case you haven't heard, I always, and I mean always, have the last word. Peace out. And oh yeah, one more time, let's go back to Dean Ambrose. Take it easy.